Hello. Now it's time for a deep web story. Yes, but I do not like this hood on my head. I can't disclose much information, but I work for the UK government. I was assigned to track down several missing people who were spotted on what is known as the deep web. I had briefly heard of this place before, but some research was required before I went in. It is a place where criminals can be safe, contract killers, live stream murders, child pornographers, the darkest depths of the internet. Time to get to it. I fired up my PC and downloaded the Tor browser. No problems. Installed and up and running in a matter of moments. Due to my prior research, I knew the hidden wiki would lead me to find the sites I needed. The missing people had been spotted on a livestream torture site. This is where I started. So many horrific acts. I saw one where someone captured a homeless man, and the director was commenting on what they wanted to be done to him. He had his eyes gouged out, face cut and skinned, all live. On with the search. I was looking for a white male, brown hair, blue eyes, around 6 feet and 195 pounds, 183 centimeters and 88 kilograms, roughly, for you metric enthusiasts. This was not going to be a pleasant experience. I counted 23 people, if not more, being tortured, raped, mutilated and brutally murdered in front of the camera. Until I found one which stood out. White male. Brown hair. Around 6 feet. Who looked about 195 pounds. I had to endure watching him tortured and killed for 47 painful and horrendous minutes. After the murder, something even worse happened. I saw that the murderer cut open his chest and spread his ribs and lungs out like a bird. I'd seen this before. The blood eagle. The blood eagle was once used to kill a king who killed someone's father. Originated in Nordic civilizations. The details weren't important now. What was important was the fact that the blood eagle cult could be back. A group of contract killers who operated anywhere and everywhere, always sacrificing people to the eagle which they called God. Someone has to put a stop to this. I didn't have the resources, I didn't have the training to take down a criminal organization by myself. I didn't even have any solid evidence to take to my superiors. No proof of the blood eagles even existing. Just one sick and twisted video I found on the internet. I needed a break, to return to normality. I closed down the browser after exiting the site. Something was very wrong. My desktop background. It wasn't the picture I cherished of me graduating from Sandhurst with my proud uniform and family. It was something which would forever change me. A picture. A picture of a corpse, with his ribs spread open and his lungs on display. A blood eagle. I couldn't take any more. I gasped and powered down my computer. A virus? It must be, used to scare the sickos who watch those things. I ran out of my office. But I heard my computer whirring into life. Dashing back into the room, I stared in horror at the monitor. No blood, no gore, just some words. My name, then the words "The eye of the eagle sees all." How did they remotely turn on my computer? How the fuck did they know my name? I ran outside, grabbing my keys, wallet, phone etc. I quickly took a breath of fresh air and walked. I just walked for a while. In the real world. It was just a computer virus. Right? Wrong. I couldn't be out too long. My wife would be coming home from work. She can wait. I was scared. For once I was truly scared. Terrified, you could say. I found myself sitting on a bench, talking to a nice old man about the weather. and woodworking tips and other hobbies. I forgot about everything that had happened. Until I went home. My door was unlocked, a tad open. Strange. Jenny, my wife, always keeps the door locked. I opened and bellowed upstairs, "Sorry love, I took a walk, needed a breather." I ran upstairs to see her. Not noticing the blood on the walls, I opened the bedroom door. The whole room was red. Soaked with blood. What I can only hope wasn't Jenny's face was slashed up beyond all recognition, and her throat was slit multiple times. I've seen death before, but nothing close to this. I stared in horror. The wings. Her lungs spread out over her ribs. The blood eagle. What the fuck? How the fuck? My flood of anger and fear and overwhelming misery was interrupted by a voice. It said my name, although heavily distorted. It came from my office. It came from my computer. I saw the face of a black and white mask, yet still slightly pixelated. I screamed, "What have you done? Who are you? What the fuck are you?" He replied with "We." He said, "We are the Blood Eagle. We kill as he wishes. Do not stop us. Do not try, do not search us, or you and your closest family will suffer. The eagle sees all, and can do terrible things." I was speechless. And feeling like I brought this upon her. I wanted nothing to do with this anymore. I made a decision. I rang the police, told them what happened. They investigated. Said it was suicide. I couldn't believe it. Weeks passed. I was haunted by the event. I booked a flight to Canada. We had a nice little log cabin there. I packed almost everything I had, my trusty shotgun, clothes, all my cash in Canadian dollars. I left my life behind, quit my job. I never wanted to go back to the deep web, or have anything to hear from it. I keep to myself and live a relatively simple life. Therapy helped me recover. I'm happy now. Years have passed. I feel safe, almost. However, let this be a lesson to everyone. The eagle sees all. Want to look into them? Want to stop them? Fine by me. I'm not paying for your funeral, or the guy reassembling your mangled corpse. Hello, friends. This time I want to tell another deep web story. Everyone knows that I'm not afraid of anything. What is this? Oh, no. Excuse me, I have to run. This story happens to my friend on the deep web. I had a pretty scary experience too, but mine was a few years ago. This story happens to my friend just 1 week ago. For those who don't know, the deep web is pretty much the internet that isn't indexed by search engines like Yahoo, Google, Bing, etc. It can only be accessed by special software such as Tor. To give you some context, this is the friend that showed me how to get onto the deep web. He has always been really fascinated with it, but after my horror story experience with deep web hackers, he pretty much took a long break. He didn't resume using the deep web until about a year after my story, but he didn't tell anyone. He would buy stolen Apple products, drugs, etc. About a week or two ago, he was buying some cocaine. It wasn't from the seller he normally buys from though. But it was really cheap, so he gave the seller his address and a fake email he used so they could stay in contact until the deal was done. He wasn't too worried. This guy seemed professional, and it was the same procedure for most of his purchases. My friend told him to ship it in a movie case or something that his mom wouldn't expect to have drugs in. This was probably his biggest mistake. He let the man know he was just a teenager, but my friend isn't the most careful of people. A few days later, his mom walks in the house and hands my friend a movie that he had ordered online. He took it and opened it up. But inside, there wasn't any cocaine, just a piece of folded up paper. He opened it up and read, "There has been a problem. Email me for details." At the bottom the man had left a new email for my friend to contact. My friend got on his email and asked the guy what the problem was. He responded, "Something has happened. If I were to send it to you, it could be traced back to me, and we would both be caught. Meet me at the elementary school at 7 o'clock. We will just do it in person." The school wasn't too far away, so my friend told my mum he was staying the night at my house, and he headed off to meet the man. He called me and asked if I could be there with him, but I was really busy with my school work, so I said I couldn't. I did tell him to take a knife or something though, just in case things went wrong. When he got to the parking lot outside the school, he heard a car honking its horn. He saw it was a Jeep, but the plate had been covered up by duct tape, and the windows were tinted very dark. The man got out of his car and gave my friend the drugs, and my friend paid him. It seemed like everything went fine. My friend got in his car and sat there a bit in order to call and tell me everything went fine. He noticed when he had hung up, the man was still there though. Why was he waiting? He didn't think too much of it and drove off. When he got to the first red light, he noticed that the man's car was right behind him. He was starting to get a little nervous but kept driving. When he reached his neighborhood, the man was still following him, so he decided it would be a bad idea to lead him to his house. He instead turned into the next neighborhood, and took a whole bunch of random turns, hoping to lose the man. Eventually, he no longer saw the car, so he pulled the car into his garage, and called it a day. That night, he noticed the sound of a car engine. He looked out his window and saw the man's car, parked in his driveway. He got wide-eyed and snuck downstairs, and peered through the window. Inside the car, the man was smoking a cigarette, and talking on the phone. But in the passenger seat, he also saw a second man. The second one was a lot more suspicious looking, even more so than the shady drug dealer man. This second one had messed up hair, a trashy shirt, and while it was hard to see, my friend could almost make out a scar from a massive burn on the side of his neck on his face. He kept watching the two men until the second man began to look at the window more and more often. Eventually, he was just staring at the window my friend was watching them from. My friend decided he had had enough and was going to call the cops. He didn't care if he would get in trouble at this point. He moved away from the window and called the police, who told him to grab a weapon or something to defend himself and wait for the police. He had waited for about 5 minutes when he saw a figure quite come out of his mum's room, who was still sleeping. The man shut the door behind him and noticed my friend had seen him. The figure sprinted towards my friend with what looked like a knife raised in his hand. My friend grabbed a pot from a nearby table and threw it at the figure. It hit him in the face and shattered. The figure screamed and fell to the floor. My friend turned on the lights and saw the second man with the burn, rolling on the floor. His face was covered in blood and shards of glass were sticking out. His right eye had tons of blood pouring out. He must have been hit pretty hard. As the man began to slowly get up, my friend grabbed a kitchen knife and drove it into the man's shoulder. Another scream could be heard by the man. The man began to stumble over to the front door when police sirens could be heard. Both men were caught on sight, but my friend's mom had been killed. Her throat had been slit, and she had 23 stab wounds, and duct tape covering her mouth. My friend was arrested too for drug possession, and his trial is coming up, but he lost his mom because of it, so I don't think he will be buying drugs from the deep web ever again. Hello, friends. Today I want to tell a deep web story, but there is one big problem. I don't have a new deep web story. What will I do? I'll use my magic ball to see a good story. When I was 12 I got into hacking and I loved it. And I had gotten quite good at it. But my arrogance caused my unbecoming. You see, I was browsing some forum and I came across something labeled the dark web. I was overcome with curiosity, so I clicked on it. The post covered everything from what it is to how to access it. I, arrogant enough to think I won't get caught, proceeded to download Tor browser with no extra precautions and started browsing. All of a sudden my laptop crashed, it froze, and I got hundreds of pop-ups warning me of a virus. Then it shut off. I stared in awe as it turned back on, only with a green light turned on where my camera is. Someone was watching. I got an anonymous message on Skype that read, "You just made the biggest mistake of your life. Who are you?" I responded while panicking and covering my camera with my thumb. "Your new friend," and then the chat just suddenly disappeared. I formatted my laptop and made sure there no remaining malware or viruses, and had a quiet couple of days after that. And was pretty relieved. I thought I had defeated him. But sadly I would come to know that wasn't the case. A week later I was getting dressed in my room and was completely naked when I got a text on my phone that had no caller ID. It said, "Come closer." Who's this? The text didn't faze me yet. I thought it was a wrong number or one of my friends pranking me. Come closer. Closer to what? I was sure it was my friend messing with me at this point. To the camera. Huh? Which camera? Okay, which one of you assholes is this? I was confused, but I had told my friends about the incident a couple of days ago, so other than the anxiety growing within me, I was consciously trying to convince myself that this was a prank. Laptop. I walked to my laptop still naked, and the light by the camera wasn't on. I know you're either Joey or Zach. I put down my phone and got dressed. My phone started vibrating uncontrollably. I had gotten 16 pictures. All of me. All naked. I screamed and threw my phone, ultimately breaking my screen. I went off the grid completely after that. No social media, no internet for a solid year. It was mortifying, especially for a 12-year-old girl. When I got back on, I had no issues and no warning signs, and I was relieved until almost 4 years later, 16 at the time. I had gotten a new laptop and was at my boyfriend's house. We were studying together when it turned into a makeout session. I heard my laptop ding multiple times and had gotten annoyed and turned around to see what it was. I guess I must have looked like I had seen a ghost because my boyfriend started panicking and shaking me. It was him. He's back. Or maybe he's never left. I started rewinding memories of all the times I've been undressing with my laptop, every time I've shared something private during a Skype call, and I started having a panic attack. His message read, "Don't forget to use protection." As if I couldn't smell the irony in that. He then continued to harass me for the next 2 years. But it's been quiet for a year now. Until about 4 hours ago. I got a text that read, "Let me in." And then I heard a knock on my door. My door was locked and dead-bolted. So there's no way I'm leaving my apartment. It's safe in here. I called the police 3 hours ago and no one has shown up. I called again 30 minutes ago and still nothing. I called my boyfriend hours ago too. He said he's on his way but he's not answering his phone. Update, my boyfriend came over 5 minutes ago and when he saw me breaking down crying swore up and down that he didn't get a call from me. And we went to the police station together and there was no record of my call. I don't know what to think. I don't know what to do.